Have you ever sat across from someone, smiled at them, laughed at their jokes, and suddenly realized you don't actually know who you're sitting with? Not really. Because sometimes the scariest monsters don't hide in the dark. They hide behind profile pictures, friendly messages, and a glowing screen that tells you this person is only 5 miles away. What you're about to hear started like any normal online date, but it ended with a question that still keeps me awake at night. Was I ever really meant to leave that restaurant alive? Online dating is so normal now that we barely think twice about it. Swipe right, send a message, meet for coffee. We trust strangers because an app tells us they're safe. But every once in a while, one date crosses a line, from awkward to unsettling to something far darker. This is the story of the scariest date of my life. A night that began with casual conversation and ended with a realization that still makes my stomach tighten when I think about it. It started late at night, scrolling out of boredom more than hope. The room was dark, my phone was the only light, and that's when I matched with someone named Alex. Alex didn't look perfect. No professional photos, no forced smiles, just normal, comfortably normal. The kind of person you'd pass on the street and never remember. We matched instantly, and almost immediately the messages started coming in. Not the usual small talk. No hey or what's up. Alex asked questions that felt different. What's one place you'd never want to be alone at night? What's your biggest irrational fear? What song makes you feel like someone's watching you? I laughed it off. Dark humor, I thought. Maybe they were just trying to be interesting. But looking back, those questions weren't random. They were calculated, like someone trying to learn how fear works. Within a day, it felt like Alex knew me unusually well. They remembered tiny details I didn't remember sharing, things I mentioned once in passing. When Alex suggested meeting in person, I hesitated. Something in my chest tightened, that quiet instinct that tells you to slow down. Then Alex said something that disarmed me. You seem like someone who trusts their instincts. If this felt wrong, you wouldn't be here. That should have been my warning. Instead, I agreed to meet. We chose a small restaurant downtown. Dim lighting, candlelit tables, the kind of place where conversations blur together and nobody really pays attention. Alex was already there when I arrived, sitting perfectly still, hands folded, eyes fixed on the door. When they saw me, they smiled slowly, deliberately. At first, everything felt normal. Conversation flowed easily, almost rehearsed. I noticed Alex mirrored me constantly. If I leaned forward, they leaned forward. If I crossed my arms, they did too. When I laughed, they laughed a half second later. Then the comments started. You look exactly like your photos. That's rare. I figured you'd wear something dark. I imagined your voice sounding like this. I asked what they meant. Alex smiled again and said, "We've been talking long enough. You feel predictable." In a good way. Something about that made my skin crawl. Then Alex casually mentioned my apartment building. Not the neighborhood, not the street, the building. I froze. Alex laughed and waved it off. "Relax. You told me you live near the old pharmacy." I didn't remember saying that. Halfway through dinner, Alex leaned closer. Their voice dropped. "Can I ask you something personal?" Before I could answer, they continued. "If someone disappeared, how long do you think it would take before anyone noticed?" I laughed nervously. Alex didn't. They followed it with another question. "What would scare you more, being watched or being forgotten?" My appetite vanished. Then Alex said something that made my heart start pounding. "You're alone most nights, right?" I stood up and said I needed the restroom. Inside, I stared at myself in the mirror, pale, wide-eyed. My instincts were screaming now. When I returned, Alex was scrolling on her phone. She turned the screen toward me. It was my dating profile, but updated. Photos I hadn't uploaded yet. A bio I'd written earlier that day, after we'd already matched. Alex watched my reaction closely. "Your privacy settings are terrible," they said casually. The check came shortly after. I reached for my wallet, but Alex stopped me. "I've got it. You'll owe me one." Outside, the street was quiet, nearly empty. Alex suggested a walk. I said no. Alex smiled. "That's okay. I already know the way you'll go." As I headed toward my car, I felt footsteps steps beside me, not behind me, beside me. Alex matched my pace perfectly. Then they said it. You should really lock your bedroom window. I stopped. Alex leaned in close enough that I could smell her cologne. Some people don't realize how visible they are, even when they think they're alone. I ran. I didn't look back. I didn't breathe until I was inside my car with the doors locked and the engine screaming. That night, sleep never came. Every sound felt closer. Every shadow felt wrong. At 2:17 a.m., my phone buzzed. A message from Alex. You left without saying goodbye. That's rude. I blocked them, deleted the app, changed my settings. Then another message came in, a different username, same town. You really should learn how to disappear better. The next morning, there was a follow request on my private social media. No profile picture, just one line in the bio. We'll finish our conversation another time. I moved 3 months later. I still don't know how much Alex knew or how close they really were, and I don't think I want to know. That night taught me something I'll never forget. Not every horror story begins with screams or shadows. Some begin with a swipe and a smile. If you want more stories that stay with you long after the screen goes dark, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, because the scariest stories are the ones that could happen to you. Sleep tight.